Welcome back, everybody, to Uneducated. I'm going to go with Uneducated Takes. I've been going back and forth between Uneducated Takes and then saying Uneducated MMA. But we'll say Uneducated Takes for this show. Okay. But welcome back, everybody. I hope your weeks have been great. Welcome back to the show. I'm the host with the most, Juan DeBread, here with the heavyweight champ, REG. Welcome. And today, guys, we're going to break down UFC 300. I'm still shaking from just going over the highlights of that card.
Just looking at the card real quick makes you relive it.
We're a couple of weeks removed now. It's been like 2 weeks, right? It was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we're like 2 weeks removed from the card. And listen, I've been a fan of MMA for a few years now. Like I said, I still go by Uneducated because it's only been a couple of years. You talk to some of these guys that have been watching since these guys had like brands on their shorts. I came in during Reebok, so I'm really not, I haven't been watching that long. But to see an event like UFC 300 was amazing.
That was like no other,
We were sitting in a room with people that have been longtime fans, returning fans, first-time watchers, casual viewers, and everybody standing, screaming, shaking, like clapping, cheering, like every emotion throughout the entire night. It was great. It was great.
It was definitely. I'm actually disappointed that we can't have a card like that again in a while.
Oh no, man!
The next cards are just not gonna live up to that.
The fall off from the high is crazy,
right.
Bro, the first fight night, so there was fights last night. The first fight night afterwards, it was like, man, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
I tried. Like my usual degenerate self. I was at a wedding, right? I was at a wedding, and I put it on. I had it. I tried to watch like one fight. I didn't even pay attention to whose names there were, and I put it down. I was like, this isn't important because it wasn't 300. If it was 300, I would have left the wedding.
Yeah.
I would have left the wedding.
Been around in the car.
I would have been like, oh my God, congratulations. And then I would have went upstairs. I would have went to the hotel. I would have put it on the TV. It would have been a whole system. I would not have paid attention to that one.
300 was special, man.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
And it's definitely going to be remembered forever. I think.
For sure. From the beginning of the night, I feel like it was such a presentation that they put on. Like, I feel like the UFC just really, really outdid themselves. For as much as people were comparing 299 to 300 and whether or not 300 could hold a candle to how great 299 was.
299 was fine.
299 was fine. We're not going to say it's not. It wasn't.
But think about like 299 and then 300 and you have to go down from
301. Let's go Brazil, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out Brazil.
But I feel like they did a really good job. Like the card was stacked. I feel like all the fights for the most part really, really did a good job, and everybody shined in their own way. The winners that won that night, I heard this said before, like it was a true testament to like their kind of personality, and the way that they fight is the way that they won. I don't even really know. I'm gonna let you pick. Like, should we go main card and just talk like main event and then go down, or should we do like early prelims going up? It was also crazy, so you really could go either which way.
Right. Down to up.
Down to up?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start main event.
Nah,
okay. The other way. We'll go prelims. We'll go early prelims. I'm with it. All right, so we're going to go with Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Now,
that was a
good fight. Cody Garbrandt, listen, he took that L, but Cody Garbrandt is good, man. He's coming back. Like, there's a lot of takeaways you get from watching these fights. Like, I find that even when someone loses, it depends on how they lost. This is a crazy sport. Anybody can get caught in a moment's notice. Granted, in this one, he lost his submission. He got choked. But he put up a good fight. He was great on the feet. He was defending a lot of the wrestling. On the ground, he was doing a good job, for the most part, avoiding the submission. But Deiveson Figueiredo, Deuce de Guerra, that dude is relentless. A problem. He was coming in. Like I said when he first came into this weight class, like he's coming for that belt. Like he doesn't play around. He took the last belt. He had, I'm blanking on the dude's name, but the guy he took the belt from, Megan O'Leary's husband, which is crazy that I feel like most people would know it the other way around, considering the guy that is like a legendary fighter. But the guy that he took the belt from, I watched him maim that dude. He took him for a beating the entire time from the moment they closed the cage and they said, go fight. He just took him down, beat him up, choked him out. It was violence. And then him and his wars with Brandon Moreno, the guy's a dog. Yeah, he's an absolute dog.
He looked like a warrior in there.
Oh, man, when he does the painted red stripe and the blonde hair, bro, these Brazilians are fire, bro.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I just don't understand. They go blonde hair and they go Super Saiyan. It's crazy.
Yo, it's so crazy.
But that one was a great fight to open up the card, man. Like,
I put my money on Cody, but shit happens.
We'll talk about putting money on it. Listen, your boy had a good night that night. I'm not gonna lie to you. I put in a couple dollars. I did all right. You know what I mean? I did my thing, but I was cool. And that was the first fight I got correct. By the way, we're gonna just keep going. After that, oh my god. Bobby Green, Jim Miller. Listen.
Oh, my goodness.
Listen, respect to Jim Miller. UFC 100, UFC 200, and now UFC 300. Who else could say that they have that underneath their belt, bro? Nobody. Jim fucking Miller can, though. Again, Bruce Buffer, listen, all due respect in the world, man. I was hoping you would say it and you wouldn't. The crowd went silent for you to drop it, and you didn't give the man the announcement that he wanted. Shout out to John Anik for doing it at the weigh-ins, though. I'll take that. I'll take that. At least. But Bobby Green put the mitts on that boy, bro.
Oh my goodness. Bobby Green's a little tapped.
Yeah, no.
This man's out of his fucking mind.
We were questioning whether or not he was going to do well after he got knocked out, like real bad by Jalen Turner, and that man came in like that was just nothing. Like I said,
like,
these
this
fighters,
is another day.
This is just Tuesday. They don't care. Like that's just whatever, man. Like he really went in there and just put the absolute. It was all gas, no brakes. He just put the hands on him, hands, feet, everything.
Just a bloody face.
Oh my god!
Was it the left eye? Was it the
both of them? By the end of the fight, it was both of them. He had one. I think it was his left eye was like pretty early in like the first to second round.
Literally would have started.
It was already like done, and then after that, the right eye was starting to get shut up too because he was just the jab all night, just bang 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 all night with the jab. It was bad. He was just too fast. I think that's what it was. I think he was just too quick for Jim Miller. Jim Miller again, like. I would say this one, it's one of those things, like I said in the last fight, like sometimes you can take some good takeaways. Jim Miller is not done yet, even though he got beat up like real bad. I was going to
ask that, like, do you retire after that?
No. Like you got to look at guys like him and like I feel like I guess you could put them together like him, Clay Guida, where it's like these guys that have been. I know, right? They've been in the sport for a while, but they're still fighting and they still have that fighter spirit in them. He didn't quit. There was no knockout. Like I don't really remember if there was a knockdown. That night was a high, bro. I don't even remember.
Yeah, right.
But I don't even remember if there was knockdowns or if it was just like standing and trading, and again, like Bobby was just too quick for him, so he was able to get out of the way of his punches, but land 2 or 3 in the middle of them. So he was just putting the pace on him the entire night. It was a good one though. I like that one. And then after that, we got Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. That one was a really good one too. That one ended in decision. But I feel like that was one where I was trying to see who was going to come and be the contender again for the belt. Where I feel like Marina Rodriguez, I did pick her to win. That was one of my only L's, one of 2, by the way, for the night. I did pick her to win. I just thought that the hands and the speed were going to be a little too much for Jessica Andrade. I've seen her now take a lot of fights in a row, like. Lot more than most other people do. So I don't know if like the level of like I don't want to say like planning for the fight, but like the training and like the preparation is there for every single opponent. If it's going to be different. She's a beast. She's a dog. Don't get it twisted. Like she's very good. But I don't know. I just caught that. I kind of thought that the same thing like was the Bobby Green Jim Miller fight was going to happen, where it was going to be just hands outpacing you, keeping your distance, circling around her, counterpunching, and just getting her, like, again, it still would have been a decision because she's tough, but I thought that that's how the route was going to go. But nope, Jessica Andrade proved me wrong.
Yeah, she was a little bit more aggressive that fight, like.
For sure. No knockdowns. Looking at the stats, nothing. Takedown, just kind of, I don't know, good fight. Yeah. Good control. I feel like that was kind of like a lull after the Bobby Green, Jim Miller fight. Yeah. You got this real big high of like watching just nonstop action. Then that one just kind of like dipped down a little bit. But you know, good fight. I feel like, in my opinion, I liked it.
Yeah, it was pretty solid.
And then we got Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. let me start back. We got Jalen Turner versus Money Moicano. I've been told you guys. Yeah. I put that bet like crazy. Listen, Jalen Turner, what was that, bro? You had the knockout in your hand. He thought he had the walk-off KO.
That was fucking...
Bro, he punched him square in the mouth and thought he was top shit. Walked away from him like, I got this. And Renato Moicano was on the ground like, I got you, bro. And he stood right back up.
So, boy, you didn't stop the fight?
No. He's like, yo, Randy Marsh, I didn't hear no bell. He got back up. He was like, I'm ready to swing. And listen, this is why you can't keep your eye off the opponent. You can't wait until the ref stops. You got to, listen, I'm not a fan of unanswered shots, but to an extent, that's your job.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going until the ref like pulls you off the guy.
It looked kind of, even though I wouldn't say it was lazy, but it seemed a little lazy where it's like, he get him with that good punch. He's like, I don't feel like going down there with him.
No, he
didn't want to ground and pound and put that energy in.
But my thing is that, like I said, that's your job. At the end of the day, like you got McDonald's to make the fries. You got to make the fries. You know what I mean? Like he landed a good shot, dropped him down. He did. He really did.
It's like he tried to convince us.
I didn't see him go limp. Yeah. He didn't starch. He didn't get like frozen. There was no like stiff dropped. So I feel like he should have followed up on some shots.
Yeah.
He missed out, and look at what happened. My boy Money Moicano comes back, and he just handles business, and he gets a paycheck
he definitely
at UFC 300.
He definitely
by finish too. By finish.
Got too comfortable. Like he really just kind of like. I don't know. He gave up. Listen, something about him. Like,
I think what it was is that people have been discussing this whole Dana White like putting the 300,000 like fight of the night or like performance of the night bonus on the card, and whether or not that was going to attribute to anybody putting a little bit more effort into the way that they were fighting. I think it did for some people. I think it definitely lit a fire under some. Others, they kind of fought the same way that they normally do. But maybe that was what happened with Jalen Turner. Maybe he was just like, I'm going to get this knockout. I'm going to get this walk-off KO, make it look real impressive. The highlight is going to be real cool. The photos are going to post are going to be great. I'm going to be the talk. I'm going to get the finish of the night, possibly that early in the night, too.
He thought that punch was it.
He did a little too much. He thought he got a little too excited, you know what I mean? And he just did not did he really think the way that anybody wanted him to.
Did he really think that punch was enough?
No, it was so
from what I was seeing, he clearly wasn't out.
He wasn't. That's what I'm saying. He didn't fall down like he got starched. I didn't see anybody. He didn't. Renato didn't look stiff. He didn't look like he had any sort of like oh my God, he's out. Like he's out cold. Like there was no like feeling of that. So I don't know, man. I thought that was just a really bad call on Jalen Turner. And you know the thing that sucks about this, he was moving up in the ranks. Like he was doing well. He was on a win streak.
Yeah.
Now he not only did he lose because he got finished. Remember that was a bad look. But then on top of that, he then also got beat up.
Yeah.
Like finished by punches, like beat up. And then now the walk-off was bad. You got finished by punches and you lost. That's three L's and one L in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now you got to go back to the queue and start all over again. And the title shot is going to move further and further down the line. That's what sucks for these guys. This is what I'm saying. You can't take your eye off the prize. You can't take your eye off the ball. You got to keep going until the ref pulls you off. Sometimes it's disgusting. Sometimes people have to look away. Me, who's a degenerate, I want to see it.
Yeah, I feel it. Like that Dan Henderson.
Yeah, exactly. Like Dan Henderson on Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
Jorge Masvidal, Ben Askren.
Yeah.
Super necessary. That's exactly what it is. Super necessary.
Sick. Fuck it.
You got to, man. I don't know. I was very upset with him, even though I had Renato Moicano winning. Like, I'm a fight fan. At the end of the day, a win's a win. If you got him fair and square, you got him fair and square. I could be upset as a fan, for sure.
That's like when like Curry does that 3-point shot where he turns around before it goes in. What if he missed it?
If he misses it,
makes him look crazy.
Just completely airballs. Everybody's gonna look at him like a dummy. And it's game winner too. It's a game winner. That's the deciding shot too. That's the worst part.
Premature celebration.
Terrible, but a great way for me, in my opinion, to end the early prelim card because I finished with a W. But also, like, that's a good moment. That's a crazy moment that you'll look back on 300 to be like, wow, I would argue that's one of the most embarrassing moments of the night.
Yeah.
I would say that, like, yeah, if I could think about it, like going through all the fights, I would say that's the most embarrassing moment of the night. And you don't want that. You don't want that stat to be on your record. That's like a UFC 300. You don't want to be that guy. But Jalen Turner, you're that guy.
Yeah.
Then we got this one. I was telling you guys about this one. I was telling you Diego Lopez versus Sadiq Youssef. I was telling you Sadiq Youssef is a dog. This sport, anybody gets caught. Diego Lopez is a demon.
Yeah,
he is on a holy mission of some kind to become champion. And I'm here. It's not bandwagon because I saw him on an early prelim a year and some change ago. And since then, not even. I saw him in the corner of a fighter. And I saw the hair, and I was like, who is this guy? And then I saw him come in like 6 days' notice as a late replacement as his debut. And I was like, oh, I'm sold. I'm sold. He lost the debut, and I was like, I'm sold on this guy. No, all chips are in. Anytime I see his name on a card, I'm watching. I'm rooting for him. Diego Lopez is a dog, bro. Yo, he got Sadiq Youssef fast. He got him out of there ASAP. Sadiq Youssef didn't even know what happened to him.
I think I had money on Youssef, too.
Well, you remember how we were talking about in the last episode where I was saying, like, Sadiq Youssef is really good, but the last fight when he was fighting Edson Barbosa, I thought he was just, like, starstruck. So he's aggressive, like a very good striker. So I thought that this was going to be a lot more competitive, maybe a little slower, actually, because they were going to kind of, like, they, like, take their time, measure their distance the whole night. I thought it was going to be kind of like that, but nah. Diego Lopez is a dog. Yeah. He's like, fuck that. I'm going in and I'm getting that kill, bro. And he got it. And I actually, something that I started reading on about Diego Lopez regarding this fight, did you know that the commission is withholding his purse from that fight? They're not giving him his money because at the end of the fight, he got on top of the cage.
No way.
He asked, I guess they released the video and you see like him pointing at Dana White, like going like this, being like, can I jump the cage? And Dana White's like, come here. So he gets permission from the boss, I guess. And he hops the cage, and then they're like,
"You're not allowed to do that."
Oh, I guess not. According to that commission, no. And then the worst part is that he's one of the fighters that got the $300,000 bonus. So not only did he get his show money, he got his win money, and he got his performance money, and now he's getting no money from the commission.
That's almost $1 million.
Bro, he got a lot of money withheld. He got a lot. I don't know about $1 million. I don't know how much they'd be paying.
Like $600K.
Probably. I'd say so.
And then we'll probably a little bit extra on top.
Yeah. Especially for UFC 300, I feel like they got a decent.
I'm definitely rounding up.
Well, actually, I don't really know because that's a part of this business that I don't really understand. Because you sign up for 4-fight contract. One of the fights happens to be UFC 300. Is there anything special that it's UFC 300, do you think? Or do you think it's, no, bro, this is fight 3 out of 4. This isn't, UFC 300, here's extra money. No, this is fight 3 out of 4 for you, bud.
I think the bonus is the difference.
I think the bonus would be the difference. On the only ones that I would say maybe have a little bit extra is like when you get up to the real big guys. I don't know either if they consider the BMF to be an actual title. So I don't know if those guys get pay-per-view points the way that the actual champions do. But maybe they got to negotiate their contracts a little bit different for that fight. We'll get into that in a little bit because Max Holloway had a lot to say, I feel like, about the money way that they were kind of doing it and the way that they were promoting this. But we'll get into that a little later. Yeah. But going back to the Diego Lopez-Sadiq Youssef fight, I think Diego Lopez, he's just hungry, man. He's just ready for it. Like it's like he's just ready to get let out of that cage. And the moment that they say "and ready fight," he's gone. Like you gotta be ready to fight that man. Yeah. I haven't seen him go. I feel like full 15 minutes if I can remember. I don't know if he has any fights to the decision because I think even in his debut he lost to submission. But I think he seems like the kind of fighter that has like endurance that can last in like a 15 to 25 minute fight, which is really important when you're getting to the like contender to championship level. As people don't think about it, like they just think, oh, that's like 15 minutes, oh, that's like 25 minutes. Those 5-minute rounds of consistent moving, punching, kicking, like having to think on like the fly. If something's coming at you, what that guy's trying to do, is he trying to fake you out? Is he trying to go for a takedown? Is that kick coming to my body? Or is he actually trying to fake me out and he's about to kick me in the head? There's so much you gotta like prepare for. So
the whole ground game, the energy it takes to even just like grapple is like
the grabbing to getting them down part alone is so much. Not trying to hold them down, like that's a lot. Bro.
And like they're trying their best to fucking get better position, and you gotta
you're trying your best to just fight off some grown ass man trying to take you down.
It's crazy.
No Diddy, I guess.
Yeah. That's low key crazy.
That's high key crazy. But he did it. Diego Lopez is that man, and I think he's a future title contender and a future champ for sure. If he keeps on the path that he's going on, I for sure see a lot of tough matchups in his future in that weight class. But I think that he's definitely got a lot of W's coming his way and a title for sure coming his way. And then after that, we got the debut that I was waiting for: Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holm.
Kayla Harrison's a beast.
Kayla Harrison showed everybody exactly what I was talking about. I told you she's going to be a problem. She's going to be a problem. And then now that she's allowed to use like full effect ground and pound. Now that elbows are allowed into her game, she's going to be a serious problem for a lot of these women. And Raquel Pennington, who's the current champion, I think your days are numbered. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like I love that she became a champion. It was like a cool moment to see somebody who's been in the UFC for a while, like had moments to become a title like holder, but just fell short. Finally get the belt, and I'm happy for you. You got that under your belt. You're gonna get the pay-per-view points to fight Kayla Harrison. But damn, is Kayla Harrison gonna just rip that shit out of your hands? I'm so sorry. Like I am so sorry. Prove me wrong, though. Like, listen, I love the sport. Prove me wrong. That's what I love to see. I love to see when I'm very, very wrong, because that's also the moments where I have to stand up and I'm fighting the tears at 3 a.m. But I'm like, damn, you gotta love it, man. You gotta fucking love it. It happens, dude. You'll see your favorite fighter ever just get put to bed, and it just happens. Shout out those Justin Gaethje fans. It happens. Happens to the best of us, baby. Right. But yeah, Kayla Harrison, man, she just dominated her. She just took her down, did what she wanted with her. I don't know why Holly Holm decided to try to grapple with her. I thought that was a little weird. Right. Like, you're like, hey, her biggest thing that she does is grabs you and then just judo flips you into fucking oblivion. And she's like, all right, bet, I'm going to get into the position that she can do that the best at. It's like, what's wrong with you? Why would you try to do that? Keep your distance, throw those kicks, Holly. Come on. Or not even the kicks. She's a former like boxing champion. Throw those hands. I feel like the kicks is even dangerous.
With a good jab.
Just hide behind that jab. Because if she grabs a leg, that's another problem. She's going to probably try to take you down that way too.
Old fucking judo.
Did you think it was weird that? Well, I guess it kind of makes sense. But did you think it was weird that Kayla Harrison didn't call out Amanda Nunes? I know Amanda's retired, but it's only been like a year. So a lot of these people retired and they come. Jose Aldo retired.
Nobody ever retires.
He retired and he's fighting at 301. What is it? He retired. They inducted him into the Hall of Fame. And he was like, all right, 301. Well, you need me, Brazil? I'm out. We out. Like,
what? Like,
that doesn't count, man.
That shouldn't be allowed.
No. Well, to be
Hall of Fame is a little like.
To be fair, at like 300, the expectation, like one of the reasons a lot of people wanted it to be this crazy event like Dana White promised was also that they were expecting a lot of these former old school fighters to like come out of retirement and come and show up this like big WWE style, who's the 30th man in the Royal Rumble surprise like entrance shit. And that would have been really cool. But at the same time, like, I don't know, at a certain point, it's not fair. And it's also like, you're done. Like, you. Like,
how many times are we going to have Anderson Silva come out for time? Man?
I totally understand. I'm going to retire from the sport of MMA and then I'm going to go pursue another sport. That's similar. Like when people retire from MMA and they go into boxing, that makes sense. Yeah. But when you are retiring from the UFC and MMA to then get put in the Hall of Fame. He did box for a little bit, and they get put into the Hall of Fame. And then I feel like it at least in my brain, felt like a week and a half afterwards. He's like, 301, sign me up. Like, no, what are you talking about?
No, you can't do that.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Do you think they should do it like how the NBA has like a 5-year rule? Like, after 5 years, after retirement, then you can be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense.
That way they don't just if they want to come back, they can come back.
I don't really know. I got to look more into the Hall of Fame to see like who's inducted and when they got inducted, because I do feel like there's a lot of fighters that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame that's kind of their careers ended not that long ago. Yeah. Like Cowboy Cerrone was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I remember he fought he was Conor McGregor's return fight a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
He was fighting a lot at the end of his career.
He was, but that's what I find that's a little strange. Where I understand that he's like fully retired. Who's to say we don't see him coming back for some weird, out of nowhere, I'm going to fight this random other old guy fight in MMA? Because that's what it's like.
Two old fights.
It's the same issue I got with these musicians and all these artists that are like, I'm retiring. I'm going to quit the game forever. I'm done with it. And a year later, they're like, I just dropped this new album. It's different. I just want you guys to support me artistically. It's like, what are you talking about? You retired.
Like, this is all you know.
This is all you.
Just admit it. You're going to do it forever.
Yeah. Listen, when you fully stop is when you, I think, should fully stop. Because when you take that break and you come back, not everybody comes back very well. You see it a lot of times where people come back and there's something missing there, or they're not as fast, or they're not as strong, or maybe the fight has changed a little bit. Like, people are coming at them with some shit that they're not prepared for. Like,
oh shit!
I mean, you got to think about it. In the last few years, this random flood of Dagestani wrestlers have come in. That's a different style of wrestling that people aren't accustomed to.
Where are
seeing.
The Brazilians?
You know what I'm saying? I use this jiu-jitsu stuff, and they're over here trying to throw me across the cage. And I'm not with it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that a lot of people should take that into consideration before they do the emotional, I'm taking my gloves off in the middle of the cage and putting them down retirement. As cool as it is to see and as respectful as it is, and for a lot of times you expect it. Yeah. Max Holloway, when he beat Korean Zombie in the way he did it, when he knocked him out, you knew Korean Zombie was going to retire. It was something that people were already talking about. He's already lost several times to a brutal KO, so you felt that was right. Some fighters, Jim Miller, if he would retire, understandable.
Yeah.
You did it. You did the damn thing.
Killed it. I don't. 300 would be a good, even win or loss. 300 would be a good.
It would have been a great moment.
To end it.
Yeah, it would have been a great moment to do it. But I just feel like it just can't. But again, if you go and you do another sport, like if you want to go do boxing or something like that, go ahead. That's by all means do it. But if you're gonna retire from MMA, walk away.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Save your brain.
But the 5-year rule, I think that makes sense. Like Chael Sonnen, he got inducted. Shout out to the bad guy. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame. But so that one I need a little bit more clarification on too, because I guess he got inducted into the Hall of Fame for not him. It was for the fight he had with Anderson Silva is why he got inducted, I believe.
Oh, because he almost...
Like how great, how legendary of a fight it is, the build-up, the actual fight, the fact that he pretty much beat Anderson Silva and then just got caught in that triangle choke. Like, yeah, I guess for how amazing and much of a legendary fight it is, it got put into the Hall of Fame, and by that, he got put into the Hall of Fame. I think he should just get put in general.
Yeah.
I was listening to DC talk to Chael about this, where to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, a lot of them believe that you should have been a champion or should have held a title at some point. I don't really think so. There's a lot of guys that haven't held the actual title, and they should be in the Hall of Fame. Like Dustin Poirier has never. Been an interim champ, but he's never been the actual champion. You're not going to have him in there. Justin Gaethje hasn't. To my knowledge, I don't think he's ever been the actual champion, just the interim. He also, would you not put him the human highlight reel?
Now I'm curious. Who else?
There's a lot of
who. What other great fighters didn't hold a belt?
There's a lot of fighters that were Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker is another one. There's a lot of them where you're not going to put them in you're not going to put these beasts, these big money draws into the Hall of Fame. That's a little absurd. I understand where you're the accolades need to make sense, but it's a tough sport where that top 5 is kill or be killed to the very max, to the very, very max. And to me, if you're able to keep your name in that top 5 conversation, even if you're doing well or bad, or you're kind of in between, that speaks a lot. The fact that you're still able to hold that value in your name, that's a lot. There's a lot of fighters that are like that they keep up there, and they may not have ever held the actual belt. They fought for it maybe a couple of times, but they don't actually get it. But they should throw them in there.
Has any of the Diaz brothers had a belt?
No.
They're kind of
Those are legendary.
Those are legendary people.
Yeah.
Jeez, you would have thought like
yeah. Those are guys that and you get they're I would say that they're infamous. Like you have Nate Diaz being suspended for weed for like a few years or whatever it was. Like that's a little unfair to me. But that was part of his big name is like,
paved the way.
He's such a badass. He doesn't even give a shit that he's like, oh, fuck it. And he came back and did the whole thing, Connor, da-da-da. So like there was a lot of that with him too. So there's a lot of people I feel like you can throw in the Hall of Fame that shouldn't. Yeah. So I thought that was a little out there. I get what you mean, DC. I totally get what you mean. There should be a ranking system of some kind where you get put into this extra status. Because here's my thing: you have champion, but then you got to give something extra to those people that were double champ. There's still only been like 4 that held 2 belts at the same time or whatever, and then there's been a few that have I think it's like 10 or something that have been able to do it in multiple weight divisions, not hold them at the same time, but like you once were welterweight and then after that you became middleweight at some point or something like that. Alex Pereira is possibly going to be somebody that has held it at middleweight, now light heavyweight, and there's talks of him going heavyweight.
Crazy.
And there's a lot of big boys at heavyweight that do a lot of damage, but he's got power. And he's a big dude himself. The man's 6'4", 2 something on a Wednesday. Like, there's a large individual. Like, I feel like he's got a puncher's chance for some of them. There's talks about him fighting Tom Aspinall, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I feel like he's got a chance. I think he's got a really good chance. All right. We went off topic as shit, but yeah, Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison is I think she's got title contentions for sure.
I think she's definitely the future champion.
I was listening to a pod where they were talking about this, and I 100% agree. I think that they need to kind of speed run her a little bit. Listen, she's been in this fight game a while. She's a former champion already at the PFL. There's no need to give her like, let's give her a couple tune-up fights. I think you send her straight to the belt after what she did to Holly Holm. You get it done. But my thing is, like with her specifically, I think there's only certain amount of weight cuts that she's a beefy lady. Is the best way to explain it. That lady is jacked. Like Joe Rogan said, she's got Vitor Belfort's back. Like she is huge in the best way possible. Like her arms are pythons. Shout out to her. But,
definitely healthy.
But there's no way that she fought at 155 and she's cutting down to 135 pounds. Like she walks around easy, probably like 160 something. Like she's strong. Like she's a
wrestler,
an impressive like specimen, bro. Like holy crap. But she really, I don't think should do the 135 a lot. I don't think it's going to be good for her health. I think that they have a handful of fights. I say we speed run her to a belt. She gets that belt right after that title. She takes that belt. She goes, "I'm the champion, Amanda Nunes. Where you at?" And we get that super fight. And that's Kayla Harrison's career right there. Yep. That'd be a really, really good fight.
What they thought Ronda Rousey was gonna be.
Exactly.
Sort of like.
And then she got fraud checked. Well, I don't know about fraud check. She's a goat in and of herself, but in a sense, she got fraud checked pretty hard. But we have Amanda Nunes like on that night watching the fights, and she drops a video of her on Instagram where she's like listening to Kayla Harrison on the TV, like waiting to be called out, and she didn't call her out. She goes, "Oh, you didn't call me out, boo!" And she's just like, "Oh, what happened?" So she's calling for it. She's chirping. I think that's the fight you make.
I guess you ain't retired, right?
Yeah, that's the fight that you make. I would take that. That's what I'm saying. These people they retire for like a couple of weeks and then they get itching.
I'm just trying to enjoy my money with my family. And I'll be back when I unretire.
I know that she has like mom life and everything like that now, but I think that she still has that like competitive edge. The issue was I think that there weren't a lot of people to get her out of bed.
Imagine being raised by like a professional fighter.
How about this? Life. You're being raised by 2 because her wife Nina is also in the UFC. Yeah. You're being raised by 2 UFC fighters.
That's
one of which no shit to Nina, but one of which is arguably one of the greatest fighters, period, of all time. And in my opinion, for accomplishments, like come on, like she beat the best of the best. Double champ in 2 weight classes, actively defending both titles in both weight divisions. That's a lot of expectations. So shout out to those kids. We'll see how they do.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot to live up to. And then after that fight, we got Aljamain Sterling and Calvin Kattar. This is my second and final loss of the night. No, it's not. Actually, I had one more after this. It was a little upsetting. But this one was one that I was rooting for Calvin Kattar, the hometown boy. I was hoping that he would be able to take a little something from Sean O'Malley's performance against Aljamain Sterling and really, really put into effect the striking, which we have seen as Aljamain Sterling's, like, I don't want to say like weak point, but that is his least favorable method of fighting. So, like, he's not very comfortable there. He can do it. He does it okay, well enough to kind of get to the positions that he needs to be in. Right. But I would argue there's definitely levels to this, and Calvin Kattar is levels above him when it comes to the striking, and he just was not able to get that into effect at all. Right. Aljamain Sterling just kind of took him down. I'm not going to lie to you. Shout out to Aljamain Sterling for the win. This was one of the fights that kind of like bored me a little bit. This is where I was checking the phone for updates. This is the one where I was refilling the drink. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I
just slice.
Yeah, I had to grab a couple slices. You know, we had the pizza. But it was just not the most exciting fight. I just wanted a little bit more action. I thought it was going to be UFC 300. I thought these were going to be a lot more finishes. These decisions, some of them were wars. Like, some of them were absolute wars. But I was hoping that there was going to be a little bit more call to action. I was hoping Aljamain Sterling was trying to impress us. You're at this new weight division. Choke that man. Get him out of there. Like, beat the human backpack. Get to his back. Get to the neck. Choke him out.
He almost caught him a few times.
He almost did. He was trying. It wasn't like he wasn't trying. Another thing, too, that a lot of people were like clowning him for, people before him and people after him all got the microphone after their fight. He did not. He was the only one that they were like, all right, get out of here. Yeah. Like, I think that just shows like how kind of it was. Yeah. Who knows? People think Dana White got beef with him because they think he's just like such a lackluster, like whatever guy, but he just keeps winning, so you have to give him like the title and stuff.
Yeah, I guess you're ranked
He has the Bilal Muhammad effect where it's like crazy undefeated streak, does very well with like keeping his W's, but the fights themselves are very mid.
Yeah.
Doesn't draw a lot of money, but he happened to be a champion for a very long time. So it's like, oh damn, how do we not? We can't.
Yes, we gotta give it.
We can't say no, but like, I mean, that kind of also speaks to the fact that they put him, who's just a recent form, like he lost his belt in November, and they put him on the prelims and put Bo Nickel on the main card. So that's I feel like to me it kind of shows like, we'll put you over there. And then we had Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. This was a banger. This one we had that low. We went right back to the high. Yuri really took that he's no samurai comment to the neck, and he got real upset about that.
Real defensive at the end,
bro. He got really defensive.
Let me tell y'all something.
Rakic was doing a fucking amazing job. He was getting him everywhere. He was making sure that he could keep him guessing. He was landing those calf kicks, landing kicks to the body, punches to the body, punches to the head, kicks to the head. He was keeping his movement. He was piecing him up, in my opinion.
I thought he was going to win the fight for sure.
It was such a funny thing to just see him like progressing so well. Like he was just landing so many shots and so many good ones, and then it just whoop.
Yes,
I don't know what happened. It just swung right in the opposite way, and Yuri took full effect on that. And like I said, he took that personal with the no samurai shit, and he was just like, "This is the Bushido way." Yeah, and he just came out, katana swinging, and just got him out of there. It was exactly what you needed out of two light heavyweights. You needed that like excitement at the end of the the end of the prelims to get the fights back going. I think this puts Yuri Prochazka back in title contention. He did lose the title from Alex via knockout, but he got another knockout here. And I think that he showed that he didn't really have any, I don't know, he didn't have any cobwebs. I feel like he seemed like he was pretty good. He wasn't worried about anything. People always wonder if you're going to be like hesitant after you get knocked out because you're a little like, don't want it to happen again. Yeah. He didn't really care. I mean, after the fight, after like Alex like tee-offed on him, he seemed like, not okay. He seemed a little dazed, but he seemed like he was okay. You know? Like it wasn't like oh my God, he got knocked out and he's unconscious for 2 minutes. Get him on the stool. He can't even sit. No. It wasn't anything like that. He did
pretty good that fight too. He just ended up.
He was landed on Alex. That's part of like why I was with the Alex and Jamal Hill fight. I was expecting Hill to do a little bit more, but I mean, Alex gets hit and Yuri was showing that. So that's why maybe they give Yuri one more. But I think that there aren't really that many big fights in light heavyweight right now that they wouldn't give Yuri a rematch.
Because if Alex goes up to heavyweight,
there's a chance. This is what we were talking about last time, where when you become a title, when you become a champion, like how many title defenses do you think that you should have before you move up in weight? Because at this point, he's had now one. It was Jamal. So I don't think that he should move up just yet.
Better weight.
As cool as it would be, I think more of the thing is that people are tired of the holdup in the heavyweight division because you have John Jones trying to fight Stipe at some point, somewhere, maybe in the future. Who knows? That's kind of where
training.
That's where it's at right now. Yeah, he's training and he's showing you that he's going out and partying and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we're waiting on the fight, bro. Like, that's what we want. We want the fight. And Stipe, I don't know what's going on with Stipe. I haven't heard anything about Stipe.
Yeah, right.
He's just been in the mountains or something.
Yeah.
He's been firefighting and doing his whole thing in Cleveland. I don't know. Shout out to Stipe.
Shout out Stipe.
But other than that, I don't know. But I think this puts Yuri back into title contention there when it comes to fighting Alex. I think it's going to be a little bit before Alex actually decides to make the move to heavyweight. It's been in talks for a while. Tom and him were chirping back and forth. I think that Tom has a couple of people lined up already to fight him. And I also think that now we're going to see that Tom is going to be considered the heavyweight champion. As much as John Jones holds the official title, I think that Tom beating Sergey, becoming the interim title while John is injured and gone for like a year or whatever, we're going to see that Tom is considered the actual champion. And this is, I think, one of the first times that the interim belt is going to be defended. That puts more weight on it. You are the contender. Like, if John decides to fight you for the actual belt, sure. Does everybody and their grandmother think John Jones is going to retire after Stipe? Yeah. So at that point, Tom's the champion. To me, he's the champ. Like, I find if you are holding a belt and you are actively fighting, you're the champion. I don't care, interim, whatever. I understand the champion's over there. He's a whatever. But when they come back, I'm not going to look at them as a contender. I'm going to look at them as a champion, and it's a championship fight of two people that are champions. But he's still a champion. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm not going to throw interim in front of it. It's just champion for me, at least. And then I agree. We finally get to the main card after all that.
Yeah. That was already like
this is the
3-0. That could have been 301.
That was 301 and 302. That's why I love this card. It was so good. They really stacked it. But this is the hard part when it comes to having casual fans and intermediate fans watching this too. Because then afterwards, it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. You look up this lineup of these next couple of weeks. It's a little dry.
Yeah,
a little dry. 301 is gonna be good. A lot of competitive fights on there. We're not trying to hate too much, but it wasn't no 300. It wasn't no 299. I don't even know if it was 298. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
But Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage.
Bo Nickel
did what he needed to do. I know he was upset with his performance, even though he won, which made no sense to me. He just wants to go in there and kill the guy under a minute and make it seem like he's an untouchable god. I get it.
Yeah.
But Cody Brundage, he took that. What was he, like a plus 9,000 underdog? He took that to the chest and he was like, nah, I'm gonna show him something. I'm gonna put in this work, and he did. Yeah. He did a really good job, like, at least for the most part, maintaining his distance, chain wrestling, defending against the wrestling of Bo Nickel, landed a couple of good strikes on Bo. Really showed him that you're gonna see some serious competition.
It ain't gonna be as easy as you think.
Yeah, and Cody Brundage isn't like top 5 or anything like that. He's just like a guy that is a dog that's in the top 15 that does very well, but he's not even like the best or one of the.
It didn't make sense to put him on the main card, I don't think.
No, but that's what I'm saying. When you look at the rest of the card, like, it doesn't make any sense to me either. Like, I'm not saying don't put him on 300.
Yeah,
he's a huge up and coming star.
This could have been the first fight.
It could have been the first fight. Even somewhere in the middle of the early prelims or the prelims, I think would have been fine. Even if you wanted to make him the main event of the early prelims or the prelims, I think people really, if you literally switched Yuri and him, I don't think anybody really would have cared that much.
No, right.
I think there would have been a couple people that would have been like, oh, really, him over? Da-da-da. But I think those are just people hating and nitpicking. I think for me, this one is more like, I want you to shine. I want you to have your platform, and you will at 300. But there are levels, and there are people that have walked a little further than you in this game that I think deserve it right now. I think that This is a good seed.
Was he think he's like LeBron?
I don't think that
coming into the.
I don't.
Why was he like?
I don't think
to be upset that you lost. I mean, to be upset that you won.
I think it's that a lot of people are putting a lot on him, so I think that he also puts a lot on himself. But you have to understand that he has this wrestler background, and I don't know if any of you out there either did wrestling or have wrestling friends like that wrestled, whether it was like when you were kids or in high school or college. That is a hard sport that is pure will and dedication. You have to put everything in it. Listen, I know kids that I went to high school with, that for all 4 years, I saw them running bleachers with them trash bags on, didn't wrestle not once because they was too big and never made weight, but they still did it.
That's wild.
Like, that's the dedication that they kept fighting to try. Like, that's wild. And the people that actually did it, they were doing even more. Like, they were really putting everything into it. They were very dedicated to the craft.
Trash bags.
It's a lot.
I remember those.
And the bleachers at Salem High, running those is no joke, man. When you get to that middle part and the whole building starts doing this, you get a little freaked out. I was never a fan of that. But it's a hard sport. So I feel like for him, who went to Penn State, has all these accolades in wrestling, coming into the sport, and then everybody putting a lot of I guess, weight into him and his performances and what he's able to do, from him being on Dana White Contender Series to then finally being on some fight nights, putting everybody out, starching them, knocking them out, like really living up to the hype for the most part.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what it is. He just wants to maintain that level of hype. Listen, he won and he did well, but it's like you saw like a little dent in the armor. You saw a little bit where you can be like, all right, so Cody Brundage was able to do that. What happens? Because you have to remember, he's in the middleweight division.
I'm curious to see how he reacts off getting knocked out for the first time.
Well, that's what I want to see, is him fighting some of these more veteran guys. So he's middleweight. So you got some Jared Cannoniers, some Marvin Vittoris. He called out like the Hamzats. This is Izzy's.
Vittori would be a good fight.
Yeah, he's got to fight the Izzy's, the Paulo Costas, the Robert Whitakers. He's got to fight all these guys. The Dricus Duplessis, who's the current champ.
Yeah, right.
This is who he's. That's a lot of dangerous dudes that he's got to fight at 185. That I'm intrigued to see, but that's what I want to see him get rattled. I want to see how he responds, because for me, you can come in, be this killer, undefeated, 10, 15 fights in a row, whatever it may be. You were just like getting people out of there. But when you get tested and you get knocked down, or you get knocked down, you get dropped, or you get almost submitted, or you get put in a compromising submission position, how you get out of it, how you recover, and how you move forward from that. That's how I want to see. Because that's how you know who's that's what I was talking about earlier when it comes to the cardio of these people that can fight 3 or 5 rounds. When you when you can prove that you can go 3 rounds and show that it looks like you can keep going more. All right, we're going to start giving you these main events. And then when they give you those main events and you can handle those, and you get into what they call the championship rounds, round 4 and 5, that's what it means, is you are there. You are not. There's no game plan of, we just got to wait to tire you out. That's a sad game plan that have people make against you, is that they're just like, we know you will get tired.
Yeah.
You're gonna gas out after 1 or 2, and then after that we just have to wear you down. That's not something you want.
That's like a lot. That's like boxing strategy.
Yeah, because the boxing, though, I was watching the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight. They got like 12, 15 rounds, 3, 4, 5 minutes apiece.
I was surprised that Garcia was even able to go that long.
I don't know. I don't watch boxing, so I don't really know. But I think it's a lot. I don't know why they do. I mean, they're shorter minute rounds, but it's still kind of a lot. So around at the same time, if not longer. But I know that boxing is a lot of cardio. You have to have a lot of cardio to get into the sport and to be at that level. Your cardio has to be tip top shape, or else it doesn't. There's no I don't know. I don't even know with heavyweights at the top if they have the expectation of you always have that one punch knockout power. I love Derek Lewis, but Derek Lewis himself has said, I don't want no more 5-round fights. Give me these 3 rounds. Like I want to cash these checks, and I want to be in and out. I can't handle these round 4 or 5. He starts gassing out. He's a big dude. He knows himself. Like he's worked a lot on his cardio. He's gotten into a lot better shape, and he's doing better. But even you get these big dudes that they're like, I don't know if I could do these. Like that's a lot of weight.
It's tough, man.
Heavyweight is 225 to 265. I'm coming from a guy that used to be over 300 that dropped down all the way down to about like 215, 220 now. This is still a lot, guys. It's still a lot. Getting up them stairs, carrying the groceries, I'm still like, so I couldn't imagine like consistent striking, wrestling, grappling for 15 to 25 minutes. No, that's like way too much.
Right.
But Bo Nickel, I think he's a rising star. I think he's going to get, I don't want to say fraud check because I don't think he's a fraud, but I think he will get tested, and I think that's what people will start to buy in a little bit more, and I don't want to say bandwagon fans, but at least actually respect him, where I think right now people are just kind of hating on him because they think that he's the shit. Like, and the UFC is like, he's the best now. But he's getting the Sugar Sean O'Malley treatment. They want to get these stars.
I'm trying not to hate on him, but I feel the hate coming.
It's hard.
Like, part of me wanted to see him get knocked out, but... Yeah.
A part of me just wanted him to, after that win, I didn't like the fact that he was kind of shitting on himself. So I think he should just got on the mic and said, thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad to be a part of this card. I know a lot of people had, or not even mention the fact that people were like own it, like own the moment. Just be like, thank you to the UFC. I did what I came here to do. I got my opponent out of here, still undefeated, and then called out somebody that's ahead of him that he wants. From the jump, he was like, I think me and Hamzat would be an amazing fight. He thinks he can smoke Izzy. He thinks he can take out all these guys. So he's calling for it now. We've seen him now take out a decent contender. Give him a Marvin Vettori or somebody like that. Give him a former title contender. Give him somebody that's still like in the mix, that's like pretty up there, like probably like top 8 or something like that. And let's get him up there. One more, I would say 2, maybe 3 more, and give him a title shot. If he's about it, he's about it. That's how I see it. And then we got the one where I had to bust out the tissues. Got a little sad, got a little emotional. Your boy got a little choked up.
Yeah.
Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan.
Yeah.
That one had my heart racing.
Yeah, that was crazy.
All these fights were great. And I had a lot of like really good moments that night. I love Charles Oliveira so much. Like his story, his fight like style, all of it. I'm just sold. Like when you get a fighter that you're just like all around a fan of, it's Charles Oliveira. And
I'm definitely a fan of.
I wanted him to win this one, so this is why I banked on him. I knew Arman Tsarukyan is a tough opponent. Off a short notice fight, I forget how short it was, but off a short notice fight with barely in a training camp, he gave Islam one of his toughest fights. Islam ended up winning, but he did give Islam one of his toughest fights. So I feel like he, coming into this fight, had a huge chance of beating Charles. But like I said, as a fan, I gotta still go with my boy. And my boy almost got it done. Right. When he got him in the choke, I literally was jumping up in the chairs. I was like, come on. And he just couldn't get it done. It just wasn't happening. I think, though, and this is me going to be that annoying fan, if they made it 5 rounds instead of 3, I do think Charles would have had another chance to have gotten him out of there. I do think that fight would have went differently. But this is one of those, if they do the 10 out of 10 fights, I see 5 and 5. Okay. I see Arman. It's either or. I think it really is either or. Arman Tsarukyan's a dog. He's really good. He's a tough opponent, very skilled. All around, like, I think he is a future champion. I still think so is Charles Oliveira. He's a former champion, and I think he can get that belt back.
Right.
It's just one of those things that lightweight division, that top, like, I guess top 5, but yeah, even more so than the top 5, but mainly the top 5. That's a really, really skilled, high level, high pace, like, position to be in. You really have to be on your P's and Q's. You cannot zig or zag. You have to make sure you are on it at all times, or you're going to get got, or you're going to get caught, and that's going to be a bad time for you. And then next thing you know, the title picture is completely gone out of your horizon.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like in these divisions, like where it's so competitive, even if you're the best, you can lose
Yeah.
can take losses to the top 5.
To the best.
Yeah.
Everybody's the best. That's the problem is that it's not you're the best. It's everybody's the best. I guess there is one person that is the best, who's the title holder. But even the fact that you get somebody that's a champion, that there are people arguing that there are other people that could take that from you. And there's arguments as to this will be a good fight, like this will be competitive, and there's arguments was like, oh, this is gonna happen. That's where it's even more of a problem, where you're like, we're just waiting for it to happen. Like Islam, when Islam was a contender going up to go against the title, a lot of people were like, he's taking that. They weren't expecting it to be a competitive fight. They were like, when Islam becomes the champion, which is crazy. So that's where it's like, you got to see. But then you have the Dustin Poiriers, who now we see is going to fight Islam in June. We have somebody who has a chance. He has a puncher's chance, and he's got a real shot in the dark opportunity to get this belt. Islam is going to be a huge favorite in that fight, though.
Right.
That's where you see like there's levels to this.
Dustin's.
I told you, man. He hikes those shorts up and he gets after it, bro.
The dog,
you see him push the hair to the side. And he hikes the shorts up, puts those hands up. Just watch out. You want to get out of the way, bro. That's the same thing, and we're gonna talk about it next. It's the same thing as Max Holloway going like this and pointing down to the middle of the octagon. Or you see that boy pull his shorts up. Get ready for a dog fight.
Right.
But I was hoping Charles Oliveira was going to win this one, but unfortunately he did not. Arman Tsarukyan got the decision, fair,
Split
square.
decision.
I think that Arman is going to be a very, very good fight for Islam. And honestly, I don't know who wins.
Yeah.
A part of me, I think, is going to root for Arman. Nothing against Islam. I think Islam's a great champion. I think Islam's like a phenomenal fighter. I think he's a great, like, I'm gonna say, like, I don't want to say character, but like great person. Like, I think he's just like very humble guy. He's very disciplined. He doesn't. There's no BS with that guy. Like that work ethic, that like Khabib, that camp. I guess you can say the Dagestanis, but I don't want to say like that in general because you don't know. Some of them sometimes. We've seen these prelim dudes, these prelim Dagestanis saying that they're Khabib. They're all Khabib, but they're not all Islam either. But Islam, he's a champion. Yeah. That is the embodiment of a champion, and that's going to be a great fight. I don't think it's going to do huge pay-per-view wise. I think that one's going to be a little mid. I think some people are going to be like, I'm not going to buy this one. But I'm intrigued in that fight. I think that's going to be one that people should look out for. I think that's going to be one of Islam's toughest tests in this division. Like I said, when they were younger, debuting like Islam fighting a short notice Arman, and Arman put in work, lost, but he put in work to a future champion. So
you think he gets that title fight next fight, or?
So this is difficult. This is the news that has come out. After 300, Arman Tsarukyan, you're next. You get the shot. How do you want to fight? You want to fight in June? You got the next title shot. June is too early. I'm not doing this again. Last time I fought Islam, it was short notice and I lost. I'm not making the same mistake again. I want a full camp against him, and I want to be fully prepared to take on that fight. I will not be ready in June. All right. Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Welcome to the title club, baby. Yeah. You get a title shot in June. Hell yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And he took it. So now Dustin Poirier is going to fight for the title. So that's the title fight that's coming up next. And then you're like, all right, Arman got it offered first. Yeah. So he should get the title shot afterwards, right? MMA math is always true. Who at 155 just beat the guy who technically was the up-and-coming contender? Max Holloway just beat Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje was supposed to be the guy who was supposed to fight Islam next for the title, but because of all this weird division and the Ramadan and all this other stuff, there was too much time. That's why Justin Gaethje and the Max Holloway fight happened. They thought that there was going to be a lot more movement quicker for Justin to be able to get the Islam fight, and it wasn't going to happen. He didn't want to wait around too long, so that's why that took
now
place. Max has a claim to. I would say he has a claim to challenge for the title.
Yeah, right.
So then there's that.
Or does Max fight
Ilya? Oh no, he will fight Ilya because he also has Ilya Topuria at his actual weight division at 145. and he can now challenge him for the title because he was the challenger to begin with.
Oh yeah, because he came up, right?
He came up, so he was already on a win against Korean Zombie, so he was technically going to be a challenger for that 145 belt anyway. But then he decided to move up in weight and fight earlier to fight Justin Gaethje for this BMF belt because this was like this crazy.
So he didn't even have to do this.
He didn't even have to do that. He just did it because he's that guy.
Yeah,
he's that dude.
He knows what it is.
So now he has the two choices: fight at 145 and fight Ilia Topuria for the belt, or fight at 155 and fight Islam. After his fight at UFC 300, which we'll get into in a second, he challenged both of them. He said, "Whoever wants it, doesn't matter, up or down, I don't care. Taking it. Belt is mine, right here in the middle of this octagon. We're fighting. I'm taking it." So now we have him. So now you got to think: does Arman get the next chance? Before you even get to think about that, now I'm going to give you even a third one. And I was right, ladies and gentlemen. Per my inside sources, again, I cannot disclose this. I have a personal, close relationship with somebody within the UFC.
Okay.
That let me know June 29th, Conor McGregor's return against Michael Chandler. I was correct.
Yeah, right. You've been calling that.
I've been calling that one. Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler, maybe not. But off of a Conor McGregor win, maybe he gets a title shot. Conor McGregor makes off the 5 losses or whatever he's had, he gets a win against Michael Chandler, that's a title shot.
Yeah, right.
He could just call for whatever.
As long as like fucking up.
So now,
missed his chance.
So now, off of that one small decision, which in my opinion, valid reason not to fight the best yet. Yeah. He's like, I got to be fully prepared for that. He said no. Dustin's like, anytime, anywhere, any place, I'll take it. Dustin's now got the next one. And then after that, there's this whole mix of random of who gets the next one and who fights who. But then you also have other fights you could make because, like, if we're talking money, we're talking serious bread here, Max Conor McGregor, make it, book it right now. I'll watch that. Max Conor 2, book it. Book it right now. I'll watch that. Yeah. I'll watch that easy. I'll watch that so fast. Michael Chandler, unfortunately, he's fought a lot of these top 5 guys now. So for him, another title shot would be nice, but he's already kind of went through a bunch of people, so I don't really know if people want to watch him fight again. He has a couple of losses against these guys, so maybe he gets these wins again. And he's an exciting fighter, but I would say, like, even if he beats Conor, I don't think people are going to care because of how many people at this point have already beat on Conor. Like, it's been a couple of losses in a row where people are like, we don't really care anymore. So I think if people saw Conor lose, like, it doesn't really move the needle at all. Right. Forwards or backwards, though. So I guess it's whatever. He just gets paid very well. Career-wise, he makes a lot of money. But I would say, like, do you get a title shot now? I don't think people are going to be like, yeah, you beat a broken Conor McGregor. Nice. Like, he was injured, coming off an injury. Nice. You beat him up. Cool. Whatever. I don't think people are really going to care that much. But Conor McGregor wins and he knocks him out cold, which probably, I think the way he'd win would be like that. I think that's going to be another knockout. I don't think 5 rounds. I don't think those guys are going to, no. At 170 specifically, there's no way that's not a knockout. There's no way that's a decision. I just think he's going to take him out of there and, we'll see what happens. I feel like if off of a knockout, Conor McGregor, I think, has a right to be like, all right, let me get that belt. If Islam's still the champion, because the Dustin Islam fight is happening June 2nd, so that's happening at the beginning of the month. So either which way you go, Dustin and Conor McGregor, 4 or whatever, we run that one back. Islam versus Conor, we have the old Khabib history, and Islam was a part of that camp, so we have that whole thing to run with too. That's even more reason to just give him. There's these little things that, like, unfortunately, where there's a ranking system with like UFC, there is no respect to it to the full extent. Like, there is moments where if a storyline that sells more, at the end of the day, they're prize fighting. They're fighting for money. I know people get all upset over the rankings and whatnot, but they're here to put on a spectacle and a show. They don't. At the end of the day, if it sells, they'll pick that guy over the other guy. Like, it is what it is. Arman Tsarukyan versus Islam wasn't going to sell a lot. I think Dustin Poirier versus Islam is going to sell more, but I would say that Arman had more of a right towards it. Justin Gaethje would have gotten the title shot I think if he had beat Max Holloway over Arman Tsarukyan, because that fight was going to be that was going to end up that way with one or the other guy on the floor. I don't think that was going to end up a decision that would have been either which way it would have ended up. Either it would have been Justin or it would have been Max, but that's the way it was going to go. And that's what we're going to talk about next, because holy shit, that was a great fight.
We called it.
That was a great fight. I was yelling, Max Holloway is going to win this one, guys.
That was definitely fight of the night.
It was a fight of the night for sure. I think that's the one that sold UFC 300. And this is what I was talking about earlier that I was going to get into. Max Holloway was bringing this up that if you look at it, and now that after he said it, I started paying attention. It's one of those things that you don't really notice something until somebody like brings it up. Like you're like, oh, you see a lot of blue cars around here. And then you start seeing a lot of blue cars. A little schizophrenic, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But Max Holloway brought it up, and it's true. They were pushing that fight heavy to be the promoter for UFC 300. Like, even when they were doing the press conference, the camera angle that you saw them at was basically you just saw Max versus Gaethje, and then you saw a couple other names, but above it was Alex versus Jamal. But you didn't see that. You just saw Max versus Gaethje as the main like event. Is what you thought it was. Right. And that was the people's main event. Everybody was saying it. The fighters were saying it. The people were saying it. Media was saying it. Everybody was saying it. Like that's the one. Listen, respect to titles and respect to championships, but they should have made that one the last one.
Yeah, this is definitely like the one everybody was excited for the most part.
That one was a great fight. Max like really put on a great performance. People were saying that spinning back kick that he threw at the beginning that broke Justin's nose, that was the one that did it for the fight. That's the reason that Justin was kind of like a little step behind. I don't think so. I think it was one of the many factors. I also think that Max is a very, very technical like boxer. So on the feet, I think he was just moving a lot smoother than Justin was prepared for. I think he was just kind of showing him a lot of looks, a lot of feints that he just wasn't reacting to correctly, is the way I'm going to say. Yeah. I think he was just kind of expecting him to throw a little bit more wildly, and that's kind of what Justin Gaethje's the human highlight reel for a reason, but I would say that a lot of his is like brute strength and like will, and that's the way he like wins. He's technical, like he has technique. I'm not saying that he just throws caution to the wind, but he does sometimes. Yeah. But I would say that Max Holloway, like if we're gonna do it like a UFC like 5 rating, like Max Holloway's got a 98% accuracy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Justin Gaethje's like a 78, 84 range around there. You know, it's good, but it's not the greatest.
I was definitely impressed by like Gaethje's, like how he was able to still be able to fight through that nose injury.
I think he just he's broken in the brain. He just knows me fight very well. Like because
you could tell it was bothering him.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. He's very tough. He knows instinct. I'm gonna say what to do. Like I think it's just second nature to him at this point, or even first nature. I think that's just what he does. Like I think he knows when you put him in like a fire like that. Like he's just very comfortable. He's used to that war kind of setting. So
Do you think if
I wasn't expecting Max to put him out, that moment was the cherry on top. That one really got me. I thought Max was going to win by decision.
That was definitely good for the culture.
That would got everybody to the amount that I love that UFC does this. If it's big enough, they usually don't. If it's big enough, no, they will drop the clip of the knockout right away. If it's big enough, they'll do it right away. Usually for the pay-per-view ones, they don't really do it. But for this one, it was a big enough moment, and they did the same thing when Sean knocked out Aljamain Sterling. They dropped the clip right away. So you get that perfect, like, multiple angle highlight, like, real high-resolution video of just someone just getting slapped. And you just see him point into the middle and them just slug it out, and he lands.
Gaethje knew.
Oh, he knew.
He knew. Like, if I go into this fire with this dude right now.
But if he gets him though, if Justin Gaethje got him,
if he would have caught him,
that belt, man. I think that they should make that an official belt. I think those fighters deserve pay-per-view points, and I think that should be a lineage of just some. But
like that hardcore champion.
But I think it should be ratings. Our rankings are excluded. I don't think it should. I don't think it needs to be your close. I think it just needs to be this guy's a dog. This guy's a dog. The fans want to see it. Put the belt up. But
that's like the belt you could use as an excuse to make any fight happen.
Any fight, really. But you, I guess, have to have the people defend it. But I don't know. You can. I want to see more than one because I want to see like different weight classes.
Or like a BMF for every weight class?
Every couple, yeah. Or you can even do in betweens because like if you did like in between every weight class, you could have a couple like mixed weight classes. Like fights too. And they'll fight over this other belt that people just want to see. Like this is like a dope fight because there's a couple like 185 versus 205s I'd like to see. I feel like that would be pretty dope. Look, a couple like heavyweights versus light heavyweight. That'd be dope. A female's a BMF belt. I think the funny thing is it wouldn't be at the heavier women's weight class. I think it'd be at the lighter women's weight classes though. I think Whaley should be a BMF double champ, BMF and a world title holder. That would be
crazy,
sick.
Yeah.
But that one was an amazing one. That one was the one that got my heart rate up to 1,000. I was just sweating, like I was just antsy because even though Max was doing work, he was winning on all the scorecards for the majority of the fight. Justin Gaethje, I'll give round 4.
Gaethje, I thought at some point was going to like knock him out.
Well, he did clip him. I mean, they didn't count it as a knockdown. I think it should count as a knockdown, but he did clip him and he did drop to a knee and he got back up. But I'd say that should count. He did a very good job of keeping him or of staying in the fight. But Max Holloway did a very good job of keeping the pressure on him and keeping him on the back foot and just not letting him start. Like he just was not letting him go off. And anytime he tried to even level change or anything, spinning back kick. Anytime he tried to do it, spinning back kick. It was always right there.
Yeah,
like
if he never broke his nose, do you think the fight would have came out the same?
Yeah. Or I think it would have maybe won decision because he would have. A part of it, I think, is he was with the trouble breathing. He was having trouble fully recovering in between rounds, so that's like a big part of it. I think that he would have had more of a gas tank in the sense of he would have been able to recover, like I said, and the fight would have been a little bit more competitive. But I think Max was doing a very good job of evading a lot of Justin's strikes and not getting beat up. Not getting just the hands put on him. Right. So he was doing a good job of dip and diving, evading, like keeping his distance very well. I think he had the reach advantage, so he had a lot more of an advantage in terms of just like hiding behind the jab. Like I said, he was hitting them like that spinning back kick wasn't once, dude.
Yeah.
Like he threw that and landed it like 5 times. Yeah. So if he broke it the first time, I think he would have broke it the third or fourth.
Yeah,
like,
no, right.
So it would have happened. I don't think that like if it didn't I think it's a when it would have happened kind of question. So I don't know, man. I think he was doing the right job. He was right on game plan. The game plan worked perfectly to a T. And then he decided for whatever reason at the last 10 to be like, fuck it, I'm going to throw. Even though he knew he won. Yeah. Everybody knew he won. Last 10, he was like, nah, right here, I'm throwing everything out the window. I could lose right now, but this is what this is about. He's like, let's get in this middle. Like
he did it for the people, man.
He won. Beautiful knockout. Highlight moment. Put it on. I want a poster of it on a wall. I'm getting that clip like painted. I want.
He could have easily just let the time pass and try to avoid him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He could have just put the hand up like he was the champion. But nah, I think that also makes it a little bit more exciting. Like, it's cool when you've won and you just take the W. But I think that also speaks to like the idea of that belt of like. You're the BMF. Like, you're supposed to be this.
Like, you can't win by decision.
No.
And it doesn't end. Whoever gets knocked.
You gotta go.
I feel like it should be like a last man standing match.
Yeah, they go kumite. They're in the jungle somewhere. And it's like, you just go until someone dies.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this right now, man. He really got this at round 5, 4 minutes and 59 seconds. There was a second left on the clock.
Crazy.
Like.
Out clean.
Shout out Max Holloway, man. Yeah, I'm just forever a fan, bro. The Blessed Express. Let's keep it moving. After that, we had Weili Zhang versus Yan Xiaonan.
This was a good fight.
This was a really good fight. Weili Zhang just proved to me like why she's the champion. Like I mentioned before, I knew where Yan Xiaonan had the advantage was going to be on the feet, and we saw that a couple times. She was getting tagged. Yan Xiaonan was putting in work, but at the same time, all right, we're going to talk about this like real quick. Weili Zhang won 3 times in one fight. She put her to sleep. She won by punches.
Yeah.
She should have won by TKO because she was beating the unanswered punches for like way too long, for like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Beating her up. And then she got the decision. Make it make sense.
It's kind of crazy. It's like she recognized that like the what's her name?
Jan.
Jan. We'll go with Jan. Had no chance on the ground.
No.
She had like
wrestling was her weak point for sure. She was down and she was not moving.
It was like every time they stood up, it was like fuck. All right, let's go back on the ground. Took over. Like that was a good.
It was a good fight. I think that she was very expecting of Jan to be very good on the feet. So that was the game plan, was take her down and take her out, submit her as fast as you can and just get her out of it. I don't think she's like a crazy threat in the sense of like, oh, she's got these crazy like touch of death, like put you to sleep, like the heavyweights and stuff like that, dude. No. It's nothing like that. But they just know that her striking maybe a little bit more technical, a little crispier. She's able to get those angles a little bit better. Maybe she counterpunches.
Every time they were standing, she looked like she was winning.
She was. I would say that she was. She did knock her down, but she staggered her a couple of times. She was landing a couple of crisp shots that you can see that like, all right, bro, after a couple of these, she's going to get knocked down. Like she's going to, not knocked out, but she's going to get knocked down. And that's going to open it up for her to just crawl on her and just fucking, you know what I mean? Right. So we got to be careful with those ones. So she was like, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to hold you down. I'm going to try to get you out of here as fast as possible. And she did that. She ended up choking her out.
That was
putting
crazy.
her to sleep.
Saved by
and
the bell.
Ref was like, no, you good. The ref had money on that one.
Yeah.
The ref was like, I got 300 on this one, Jan. You got to get this money.
You know what it was like when she got back on her feet and didn't stumble?
Yeah, right?
It was just like, how you would literally asleep. How did you?
They were saying something about I don't remember if it was like the cut man or something had like smelling salts on his finger and they put it up there and she was like, whoa, and she woke up and she was good. But I don't know that that's like a thing that refs are allowed to put smelling salts on their finger and put it up your nose for you to like wake up. I didn't know that was like a thing.
I didn't know.
I've never heard of it before, so you don't know.
I'm familiar with the smelling salts. I've heard of it.
I know of it working for like waking you up, and then people doing it for like lifting, like power lifters use it. But I didn't know that was like something that was allowed in fighting because that's crazy.
That is a crazy.
She was out. Like I saw her eyes go to the back of her head, and she was limp. Like she was done. And they picked her back up. She went back out there, got dropped again. Got beat up and like just punched on a bunch. The ref should have stopped it. He didn't. Round end, and then they just keep going, and she wins by decision. That made no sense to me. But she still got the win, and it was another win for the parlay. So we still winning. I'll take it.
The Warrior.
And then Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill.
Hell yeah!
I'm proud of Jamal Hill. I'm gonna say it here. I'm proud of Jamal Hill for coming back off of that injury and taking this fight on short notice, stepping up and. I wouldn't say saving 300 because of the amount of amazing fights that were on this card in general, but dude, you're like he's a champion, bro. Like you got to put some. Like, what was it? His Achilles tendon, like all fully healed, repaired, rehab, going through all of that. That usually takes up to like a year, and he did it in like 8 months or so. Like, and he was able to come back and fight again. This fight was short, but just the fact that he made it there, I was like, it made it there, made weight, showed up. Fully looked like he was ready and prepared to go into war. Thank you to Jamal Hill for doing that.
Yeah.
You're fighting a beast.
Yeah. This guy's like...
Kobe Bryant, are you a different animal and the same beast? He's somehow both and then a third thing. I don't understand. Alex Pereira is a problem, bro.
Right.
Or Pereira.
Yeah.
I still don't... Pereira. I'm going to go Pereira.
You can go Pereira. It's all good.
But Alex is a beast, man. Like that's what touch of death. Like I said earlier,
that's what
he's
got
the touch
he
of
got
death.
the touch of death, and it doesn't even look that like crazy.
It was the combo nut shot. Told Herb Dean to back off.
Oh yeah.
The nut shot wasn't nothing. Watch this, and then just and got him out of there. I was like, oh,
so that didn't hurt. That didn't even hurt. Get out of here.
Jamal throws the nut shot. And then Alex just telling the ref, like the whole thing was just like, oh, this is so good.
Cool though.
It was so good.
Nah, I'm good, nigga.
The whole sequence just wham. It went so quick, and I was just like, all right. And it was the perfect wrap up for 300, man.
He always shows that he's that guy. Like he always shows like look, like for anybody that's doubting me right now, I'm gonna show you once again, I am that guy. Like,
is he really? Like people clown this a lot on like Twitter, but Izzy really did that by one interview mentioning this one dude that beat him a few times that he called some drunk in a bar.
Yeah.
Got that man that angry and that hyped up. He was like, "Oh, he just called me a bum? I bet. Watch this." Comes in, joins the UFC. beats 2-3 guys, gets a shot at the title, beats Izzy, goes on this reign, loses to Izzy, takes the light heavyweight champion, and now defends the light heavyweight champion at UFC 300, and is now getting talked about as possibly going up to the heavyweight to become a 3-division champion. All because Izzy was talking shit on an interview about a guy that wasn't even in the organization that he fought in, bro. This is what hating does. Yeah. This is what hating does, bro. Haters be motivators.
Remember when it seemed like Alex was haunting Izzy.
It was,
for the longest time. Yeah. It was like, yo, this is the one guy that Izzy can't beat.
Nah, he's from the shadow realm. He's over here doing the bow and arrow thing from who knows where.
You see him do it with the whole camp with him.
Oh, I saw that. That was dope. That was dope. Well, now he's become a superstar. People have I feel like maybe after he beat Izzy, people became like a big fan of his. Yeah. But I think that light heavyweight win. First light heavyweight win, I think that was when people were became a fan of his. He got the title at light heavyweight. Superstardom just exploded. Yeah. Everyone everywhere was just yelling Chama, which is his thing, which means let's go, by the way. When people I see everybody looking it up. It means let's go, I'm fired up, hell yeah. That kind of
when I see him in the tribal Chama gear, bruh.
When he does the ceremonial weigh-ins and he comes with the red face paint, the tribal chief gear, and he gets into people's faces and just stone face. That man is a serial killer.
Yeah.
The video, I sent you this video the other day where I guess when he fights, so he grows his hair out normally. And he had his hair out. He had this whole mustache. He looked like the homeboy from the Addams Family. It was a whole thing. But then for fight week, he shaves all of it. He shaves the mustache. He shaves his head fully bald. So he did this video where he's outside and he has his full head of hair and he's just shaving his head all serious. And he only has one half of his head shaved and the other half he still has the hair and the mustache. So he did a video where it was showing the hair side and it was him smiling and laughing. And then he immediately so serious, stone cold assassin right afterwards. When he shows the other side.
Hell yeah.
No, he's two-faced for sure. That man is a problem. And it's crazy that we've seen it now where people talk about his calf kicks being insane and you being not able to even see them coming. And it looks like there's no effort being put into them, but it's a baseball bat being swung at you by an MLB player coming at you full speed somehow. His left hook is a touch of death, puts you to sleep. Let's not forget, he killed somebody. I think it was either his debut or his second fight in the UFC via flying knee.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad flying knee knockout too. It's one of the a good highlight of it too. The man is a problem. We haven't seen him get checked out by a real good wrestler, which is a thing a lot of people were waiting on. When he was fighting at middleweight, people were expecting him to fight Hamzat. Hamzat, I'm not gonna lie, has kind of been put to the back burner. I will say, for me at least, the fight against Kamaru Usman, I think he got fraud checked a little bit, even though he won. I think he got fraud checked a little bit. So now I don't put as much hype into him fighting these guys and thinking he's this world eater. I don't think that's really what he's going to be. He's no Galactus or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to come in here and just start, like you said, I'm going to smash everybody. I'm going to kill everybody. I don't think it's going to be that. I think he's going to come in. He's going to do well. He's going to do real. But I think he's got a lot of opposition that he's going to have to fight through. But Alex, I think, is here to stay. I think he's going to be a big name in the UFC. Before this fight, he signed, I think it was a 6-fight contract to stay with them. I'm a fan of a couple title defenses, and then you move up in weight, and I see a lot of people at light heavyweight that I don't see beating Alex. So I feel
that's how I feel too.
He's going to take out the next couple guys, and then he's going to fight for heavyweight gold.
You think Jiri comes back and gets a second chance?
I think so.
I think he deserves a second chance.
I think Jiri, after that win, I think he gets a second chance. I think he gets another fight. And I think Jiri actually has a shot of beating Alex. I was saying, Jiri, you said it, Jiri was doing well in the first fight. And like I said, he is hittable. So there's a way, there's a will, you could do it. Izzy knocked him out. Granted, it was a lighter weight class, so for as big of a dude as he is to cut down in weight, that messes with you. This is why I was saying earlier with Kayla Harrison, I think she has a couple of fights left, fighting at that lower weight class before she's like, I'm done, I'm walking away. it messes with you. Your chin apparently goes. Your brain being dehydrated, it messes with you. You're more susceptible to getting knocked out. Concussions are more of a thing afterwards. Yeah. The chances of CTE are maybe heightened. Who knows? You're just taking a lot of risk by like draining your body of nutrients and then going to sign up to take head damage.
Literally, literally.
It's not a good recipe at all. So I just feel like you got to be careful with that stuff. But Alex moving up in weight. Here for it. Eat your steaks, bro. Get your protein in, lift your weights, and then go murder somebody at 225 and up. Like, I think it'll be a great time. I think that was like the cherry on top for UFC 300.
Yeah.
I think the shit talking from Jamal Hill going into that fight out of nowhere was a little weird, but we'll take it.
Yeah, he had him sign.
He did the whole thing where he had a hoodie and he had everybody that was fighting on UFC 300 sign it. It was so humble. He's like, I'm a fan. At the end of the day, it's all due respect. Like, I love this game and I'm a fan of yours. Like, you do good work. And then like we get to press conference and he's coming out. So Alex's whole thing is like, people said that he's stone face. So then like stone face is like the sculptures or the statues they have on Easter Island. So that like stone face thing. Yeah. So then Jamal comes out with a stone head on a chain, like he's gonna dog walk him and talking all this shit. It's like, all right, you can't be buddy with the guy and then turn this on. Nobody's gonna buy it. If you're like that from the jump, cool. But if you're not, this is fake. Like nobody wants this. And now we want to see you get knocked out. Like we don't want to see you win. And it's one thing to hype up a fight, but
Alex was kind of like, man, look at all this fucking WWE bullshit.
He doesn't. I like that like class of fighter, like Alex and like these more competitive guys that are just here for the competition and the sport aspect of it. Where they're like, dude, you can come at me with all the antics you want, but I'm here to kill you. Like you could, you could do all the jokes.
Those are the ones I respect the most. Though.
Yeah, you could haha all day. I'm gonna kill you, bro. I don't know if you've seen that Key and Peele skit where they're doing like they're making fun of like the UFC fighter promos where it's like the guy he's like I'm gonna knock him out round one, bitch, and then the other guy's like, God's lessons are beautiful. He gave me his gifts so I could use these weapons to kill him. It's like, dude, that's the kind of guy you put your money on. The guy that's talking about God's lessons are beautiful. You're like, whoa. But I think Alex is going to be a huge problem for the light heavyweight division and possibly the heavyweight division, and he's going to be a huge star for the UFC. Izzy, man, I don't know. You got to watch your words, bro. They speak true. They speak things out into the universe. You don't know how that's going to come back to haunt you. So please take that as a lesson as we wrap up this episode of Uneducated Takes. I've been your boy, the host with the most, Wander Bread. Of course, joined as always with the heavyweight champ, REG. Thank you. Please comment, like, subscribe, whatever else the young kids are saying or whatever. We're out.
Peace.
Peace.